The word came out of my mouth before my hands stopped shaking. No, just one syllable. Simple, clean, and somehow it sounded like a crime. There was a pause on the other end of the phone. Then my mother's voice turned sweet. Too sweet. "I'm sorry, what did you say?" I stood in my kitchen, staring at the calendar on the fridge. Blue ink everywhere. Other people's plans, written in my life. "Mom," I repeated, slower this time. "I can't. I'm not doing it." Another pause. Then she laughed. A small, disbelieving laugh that carried a warning. "Oh, honey," she said, "don't be dramatic. It's just for the weekend." In the background, I could hear my sister's kids screaming, laughing, chaos like a television left on too loud. My sister, Brooke, was the reason for the call. Again, Mom took a breath like she was about to explain something to a child. "Brooke needs you," she said. "Her sitter canceled, and you work from home. You can just—" "No," I said. My own voice startled me. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't rude. But I didn't soften it. I didn't add the usual padding. "I'm so sorry. I wish I could. Maybe I can rearrange things." I just said no. Silence. Then Brooke's voice snapped into the call, loud and sharp. "Are you kidding me?" she said. "Seriously? You're saying no?" My stomach flipped. I could already feel the familiar reflex. Explain. Apologize. Fix it. But my therapist's voice landed in my head like a hand on my shoulder. "You don't have to argue your boundary. You don't have to convince them. You just have to hold it." I swallowed. "I'm saying no," I said again. "I have work, and I'm not available." Brooke scoffed. "You're not available," she repeated, like she was tasting something rotten. "Must be nice." My mother cut in, voice suddenly wounded. "Wow," she said softly. "Okay, I see what this is." I closed my eyes. "Here it comes. I guess therapy really did change you," Mom continued. "You used to be the one person I could count on." My chest tightened. Because she was right. I was the one everyone counted on. The problem was, they counted on me the way you count on a doormat. Brooke laughed, bitter. "Let me guess," she said. "Your therapist told you to set boundaries." Her tone made boundaries sound like a dirty word. Mom sighed, long and heavy. "Sweetheart," she said, "family doesn't say no to each other." My hands were cold. I could feel my heart pounding like it was trying to escape my ribs. "Mom," I said carefully, "I'm not abandoning anyone. I'm just not doing this." Brooke's voice rose. "So you're selfish now." There it was. The accusation, the label, the thing they threw at me any time I stopped absorbing the impact. My phone buzzed, then buzzed again. Group chat messages started popping up one after another like fireworks. "Wow, I can't believe this. What's going on? She thinks she's too good for us now. After everything we've done for her." My throat burned. I stared at the screen, and for a second, I wanted to backtrack. I wanted to say, "Fine, I'll do it. I'll take the kids." Because that's what I always did. But then I looked at the little sticky note on my counter one my therapist made me write last week. It said, "Resentment is a boundary you didn't set." I took a slow breath, and I did something I'd never done with my family. I ended the call, not with anger, not with punishment, just a click. The silence afterward felt wrong, like my whole body expected the world to fall apart. And in a way, it did. Because within 5 minutes, my mother texted the sentence, that would become the theme of the next 6 months. I don't recognize you anymore. I stared at it, shaking. Then I whispered to the empty kitchen. Maybe that's the point. Chapter 2. The room where I learned the truth. I didn't start therapy because I wanted to find myself. I started therapy because I couldn't sleep. I was 36 years old, and my life looked fine from the outside. A steady job, a decent apartment, friends who thought I was so put together. But at night, my body told the truth. My jaw hurt from clenching. My shoulders stayed up by my ears. My stomach lived in a constant state of dread. And every time my phone buzzed, my heart did this little panic jump, like it expected bad news. My therapist, Dr. Klein, had a calm voice and eyes that didn't flinch. The first day, she asked a question that felt too simple to matter. What brings you here? I laughed. I didn't mean to. It just came out sharp and exhausted. My family, I said. Dr. Klein nodded like she'd heard that before. Tell me what's happening, she said. So I did. I told her about Brooke's constant emergencies, my mom's guilt, my dad's silence, the way I was always the one expected to fix everything because I was the responsible one. Dr. Klein listened without interrupting. When I finished, she asked another simple question. What do you want? I stared at her. I genuinely didn't know. My mouth opened, and nothing came out. Dr. Klein waited. The silence stretched. And then I said the first honest thing I'd said in a long time. I want a day where nobody needs me. The words hit me like grief. Because the moment I said it, I realized how long it had been since I'd had one. Dr. Klein nodded. That makes sense, she said. I swallowed. Then I confessed the part I was ashamed of. Sometimes, I whispered, I'm so angry at them I can't breathe. Dr. Klein's voice stayed calm. Anger is information, she said. It tells you something matters, or something is wrong. I frowned. What's wrong is, I'm a bad daughter, I said quickly. I should be more. Dr. Klein raised a hand gently. Let's slow down, she said. She leaned forward. Tell me what happens when you say no. I laughed again, bitter. I don't say no, I admitted. Dr. Klein's eyes stayed steady. Why not? Because I didn't want to be selfish. Because I didn't want to be abandoned. Because I didn't want to be the reason someone was upset. Because my family trained me, quietly and consistently, that love meant compliance. I didn't know how to say all that. So I said the simplest version. Because they get mad, I whispered. Dr. Klein nodded. And what happens when they get mad? I hesitated. My throat tightened. I pictured my mom's disappointment, Brooke's rage, the way my dad would go quiet and let the women do the damage. I feel like I'm doing something wrong, I said. Dr. Klein nodded again. Then she said the sentence that changed everything. Feeling guilty doesn't mean you're guilty. I blinked. She continued, gentle. Sometimes guilt is just the alarm system you were raised with, she said. It goes off any time you do something new. I sat very still, because something in me recognized that truth like a key fitting into a lock. Over the next few weeks, Dr. Klein taught me words I'd never been allowed to use. Boundary, enmeshment, emotional labor, people-pleasing. But the most important one was the simplest. No. At first, even practicing it felt ridiculous. Dr. Klein would smile kindly and say, let's role play. Pretend I'm your mom. And my body would tense like I was about to be punished. I'd clear my throat. I can't, I'd say weak. Dr. Klein would tilt her head. That's a reason, she'd say, not a boundary. Then she'd guide me. Try. No, I'm not available. I'd whisper it, embarrassed. No, I'm not available. Dr. Klein would nod. Again, she'd say. I'd say it again, and again, until the words stopped feeling like a weapon and started feeling like a door. A door I could close, not to hurt anyone, but to protect myself. And the terrifying part? The more I practiced, the more I realized my family didn't want a healthier version of me. They wanted the version that never said no. Chapter 3. How I became the family's solution. In my family, Brooke was the storm. My mom was the conductor, and I was the sandbag they used to keep the house from flooding. It wasn't always obvious. That's the thing about family roles, you don't notice them while you're inside them. You just think, this is how it is. Brooke was 2 years older than me, loud and charming when she wanted to be. She had a gift for turning every problem into an emergency and every emergency into someone else's responsibility. She also had 2 kids and an on-again, off-again boyfriend who was allergic to accountability. My mom called Brooke spirited. She called me steady, which sounded like a compliment, until I realized steady meant available. When I was 22 and Brooke totaled her car, I drove her to work for 3 months. When she got behind on rent, I loaned her money I never got back. When her first baby was born and she spiraled, I slept on her couch for a week because she couldn't handle nights alone. My mom always framed it the same way. You're so good at helping, she'd say. You're the only one who can calm her down. You're just better at this. I used to feel proud, like I was the strong one. But strength, in my family, came with a price. If you were strong, you didn't get support. You got more weight. My dad, Mark, was the quiet presence. He wasn't cruel. He just avoided conflict the way some people avoid bad weather. He'd glance up from his newspaper, mutter, "Let's all calm down," and then retreat into silence. It was my mom and Brooke who kept the emotional engine running, and I was the fuel. The pattern was always the same. Brooke would have a crisis. Mom would panic. Mom would call me, not to ask, to inform. "Brooke needs you," she'd say. And I'd go, even when it cost me work, even when it cost me sleep, even when it cost me relationships. I once broke up with someone I actually loved because he finally said gently, "It feels like your family owns you." I defended them. I defended them like people defend the thing they can't survive without. "They're family," I said. "They need me." What I didn't say was the truth. If I stopped being useful, I didn't know who I would be. Therapy didn't just teach me to say no. It taught me to see the way my mom used guilt like a steering wheel, to see the way Brooke used chaos like a leash, to see the way my dad stayed quiet because silence kept him safe. And it taught me something harder. I wasn't just a victim. I participated. I said yes because yes made me feel loved. Yes made me feel needed. Yes made me feel like I belonged. No felt like abandonment, until the day it didn't. Until the day the resentment got so loud it stopped being anger and started being nausea. Dr. Klein asked me a question one afternoon that landed like a stone. "If you keep saying yes," she said, "what are you saying no to?" I didn't answer right away. Then I whispered, "My life." And that was the day I realized being the family solution was slowly turning me into my own problem. Chapter 4. The First Boundary and the First Backlash. The first boundary I set wasn't even big. It wasn't money. It wasn't moving. It wasn't a dramatic confrontation. It was a Thursday. Brooke texted at 11:38 a.m. Need you to pick up the kids at 3. Don't ask. Just do it. I have a thing. A thing. That's what she called everything, from a dentist appointment to a date. My stomach tightened automatically. My fingers hovered over the screen. The old version of me would have typed, "Okay, sure, no problem." Then I would have spent the rest of the day rearranging my work schedule, canceling plans, and pretending it was fine. I opened my notes app instead. Dr. Klein had me write scripts, sentences I could use when my brain went blank under pressure. One of them said, "No, I'm not available. I hope you find another option." It looked cold on the screen. My body resisted it, but I took a breath, and I sent it. "I can't today. I'm not available. I hope you find another option." The reply came in seconds. "Wow. Okay. So, you're just done being an aunt now?" I felt my face flush. My heart raced. My phone buzzed. Incoming call. Mom. "Of course," I answered. My mother didn't waste time. "What's going on?" she demanded. "Brooke is upset." I took a breath. "Brooke asked me to pick up the kids last minute," I said. "I can't today." Mom's voice sharpened. "You can't," she repeated. "Or you won't." I swallowed. "I can't," I said. "I have work. I have a deadline." Mom scoffed. "You work from home," she said. "You can do it from anywhere." There it was. The family belief that my time wasn't real, that my boundaries were optional. I tried to keep my voice steady. "Mom," I said, "I'm not available." She went quiet for a beat. Then her voice dropped into disappointment. "Who are you," she said softly, "to turn your back on your own niece and nephew?" My throat burned. "I'm not turning my back," I said. "I'm just not doing this today." Mom sighed dramatically. "You know," she said, "when you were little, I never said, 'I'm not available.'" The guilt hit like a wave. I could almost see the old me surfacing, apologizing, folding, fixing. But Dr. Klein's voice returned. "Guilt is not a command." I swallowed. "I appreciate what you did for me," I said slowly. "But that doesn't mean I owe you unlimited access to my life." Silence. Heavy. Then my mom said very quietly, "So therapy taught you to be disrespectful?" My stomach twisted. "Mom," I whispered, "I'm not being disrespectful." "You're being selfish," she snapped. The word landed like a slap. Selfish. I took a breath. Then I said the sentence that changed the rules of our family. "Mom," I said, "I'm not discussing this if you're going to insult me." There was a pause. Then my mother's voice rose. "Don't you dare put rules on me," she said. "I'm your mother." My hands trembled, but I held it. "I love you," I said, "and I'm getting off the phone now." "Don't hang up." I hung up. My whole body shook afterward. I sat on my couch and stared at the wall like I was waiting for lightning to strike. It didn't. The world didn't end. But within the hour, the family group chat lit up. "I don't know what's gotten into you. She thinks she's better than us now. Let's all calm down. This is why people hate therapy. It makes you selfish. After everything we've done." I read the messages. My chest hurt. Then I typed one line. "One, I love you. I'm not available today. Please stop attacking me for it." No defense. No argument. No long explanation. I pressed send, and then I did the hardest thing. I didn't keep watching the chat. I put my phone face down. And I let them be mad. Chapter 5. They didn't miss me. They missed control. When you stop being the family's shock absorber, the noise gets louder. Not because you're doing something wrong, because everyone can finally hear the chaos. The next few weeks were a parade of tests. Brooke would ask for something unreasonable. I would say no. Mom would call, angry or wounded. Dad would text a single line, "Can't you just help this one time?" Every time, it was just this once. And every time, it felt like they were trying to drag me back into my old shape. Brooke's requests got more intense. One Friday night, she texted, "Need you to take the kids for a week. I need a break. Don't make this about you." A week. Like I was a free daycare. I stared at my screen, jaw clenched. I typed slowly. "I can't take the kids for a week. I can help you look for options." Her reply came fast. "Options? I'm your sister. I don't need options. I need you." I felt a familiar sting behind my eyes. I used to confuse need with love. Therapy taught me the difference. I didn't respond right away. Instead, I wrote Dr. Klein an email like she'd suggested I do when things escalated. "I feel like I'm hurting them," I typed. "I feel like a bad person." Dr. Klein wrote back the next day. One sentence. "You're not hurting them. You're disappointing their expectations." That sentence rearranged something in my brain. Because it was true. My family wasn't reacting to cruelty. They were reacting to a new limit. And limits, to people who benefit from your lack of them, feel like rejection. Then my mom pulled out her strongest move. The one that always worked. She got sick. Or, she said she did. She called me on a Sunday morning, voice weak. "I'm not feeling well," she said. Instant panic. "What's wrong?" I asked. "Oh, nothing," she said quickly, which meant everything. "Just dizzy, maybe my blood pressure." My mouth went dry. "Do you need me to come over?" I asked. There was a pause. Then she said softly, "If you want." If you want, that was my mother's favorite trick. Make it sound like my choice, so the guilt would be mine. I took a breath. "Mom," I said gently, "have you called your doctor?" Silence. Then, annoyed, "No." "Can you call?" I asked. "Or do you want me to help you make the call?" She sighed, irritated. "I don't need help making a call," she snapped. I kept my voice calm. "Okay," I said. "If you feel dizzy, you should call. If it's urgent, call 911. My mother's voice sharpened. "So now you're too busy to come?" There it was. The trap door. I swallowed. "Mom," I said, "I'm happy to come if it's an emergency, but I need to know what's happening." She huffed. "It's fine," she said. "Forget I said anything." Then she hung up. My hands shook. For a minute, I almost grabbed my keys anyway, because what if it was real? Then I did the thing therapy taught me. I checked reality. I called my dad. He answered, confused. "Hey," he said, "everything okay?" "Is Mom okay?" I asked. "She said she's dizzy." Dad paused. Then, "She's in the kitchen, making pancakes." I closed my eyes. A slow, painful exhale left my lungs. "She's making pancakes," I repeated. Dad lowered his voice. "She's mad," he admitted. "She says you're acting different." My throat tightened. "I am different," I whispered. Dad sighed. "Your mother's scared," he said. "You know that, right?" I swallowed. I did know. But fear didn't justify manipulation. That night, the group chat blew up again. I guess I raised a daughter who only shows up when it's convenient. She's cold now. Therapy did that. I miss the old you. I stared at the words, I miss the old you. Translation, I miss when you didn't resist. I typed, then deleted, then typed again. Finally, I sent, I'm still me. I'm just not available to be guilted anymore. Then I muted the chat for 7 days. And something surprising happened. The anxiety got quieter. Not gone, but quieter. Because for the first time in my life, my nervous system wasn't on call for everyone else. And that's when I realized the hardest truth. They didn't miss my love. They missed my compliance. Chapter 6, The Holiday Test. Boundaries don't get tested in calm moments. They get tested on holidays. My mom hosted Thanksgiving every year, even when she said she didn't want to, even when she complained for weeks. Hosting was her identity. Martyrdom served on a platter. This year, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, Mom texted, You're hosting this year. You have more space. Don't argue. My stomach tightened. I could already see the day. Brooke arriving late with kids screaming, No contribution. Mom criticizing everything. Dad disappearing to watch football. Me cleaning up until midnight. And then my mom telling everyone she did such a good job, like that erased the damage. I stared at the text. Then I opened my notes app again. Script. I typed back, I'm not hosting Thanksgiving this year. I can come for a few hours, or we can do a restaurant. Let me know what you prefer. The phone rang immediately. Mom, I answered. Her voice was sharp. What is this? She demanded. A restaurant? That's not Thanksgiving. I kept my voice steady. I'm not hosting, I said. I can join, but I'm not doing the whole thing. Mom's breathing went tight. So you're just refusing to be part of the family, she said. No, I replied. I'm refusing to be the family's unpaid event planner. Silence. Then my mom's voice dropped into something wounded. You know, she said softly, your grandmother would be heartbroken to see you treat family like a burden. My chest tightened. Old guilt tried to rise. But I breathed. Mom, I said, I'm not doing this conversation. If you want to talk about logistics, we can. If you want to insult me, I'm going to hang up. Her voice rose. Listen to yourself, she snapped. You sound like a therapist. You sound like you don't love us. I swallowed. I love you, I said, voice shaking. And I'm not hosting. She hung up. 10 minutes later, Brooke texted, Mom says you're ruining Thanksgiving. Who even are you now? My phone buzzed again. Dad. Hey, he said carefully. Your mom's upset. I know, I said. He sighed. Can't you just do it? He asked. There it was again. Just do it. I closed my eyes. Dad, I said softly, why doesn't Brooke host? Silence. Then, you know Brooke. Exactly. Everyone knew Brooke, which meant everyone expected me to compensate for her. I took a breath. I'm not doing it, I said. Dad's voice turned weary. Your mom's going to take this hard, he warned. I know, I whispered, but I'm taking my whole life hard. He didn't have an answer for that. Thanksgiving came. I did not host. I went to a restaurant with a friend instead. I felt guilty and free and sad all at once. My phone buzzed all day. I didn't check it until the evening. There were missed calls, voicemails, texts. The last one was from my mom. I hope you're happy. And for the first time, I didn't spiral. I stared at the message and whispered, "I'm not happy." Then I added, quietly, "But I'm not drowning." Chapter 7: The Crisis They Tried to Use. The real test came in December. It wasn't a holiday. It was something scarier. A real crisis. My mom called at 6:41 a.m. I answered, half asleep. "Your sister is in trouble," Mom said. My stomach dropped. "What happened?" Mom's voice was urgent. "She got behind on rent," she said. "She's going to be evicted." I sat up, heart racing. "Brooke," I said, "is she okay?" "She's crying," Mom replied. "She needs money." There it was. Money. Of course. My chest tightened. "Mom," I said carefully, "how much?" Mom didn't hesitate. 3,000, she said. I blinked. "That's a lot." "It's not that much," Mom snapped quickly. "You have savings." I swallowed. Therapy taught me to hear the entitlement underneath. You have savings. Savings equals available to fix other people. "I'm not giving Brooke $3,000, I said. Silence. Then Mom's voice turned cold. "Excuse me? I'm not doing that," I repeated. "I can help her make a budget. I can help her find resources. But I'm not paying her rent." Mom's tone sharpened. "So you're just going to let her lose her home?" My throat tightened. "I'm not letting anything happen," I said. "Brooke's choices are letting this happen." Mom's voice rose. "She has kids." I breathed. "Then she needs a plan," I said. "Not my bank account." Mom hissed. "This is that therapy again," she snapped. "You're heartless now." Heartless. Another label. Brooke got on the phone, sobbing. "Please," she cried. "I just need help. Just this once." My chest hurt. Because I loved my niece and nephew. Because the kids were innocent. Because part of me wanted to throw money at the pain and make it stop. Then I remembered something Dr. Klein said last week. If you rescue someone from consequences, you marry their behavior. I swallowed. "Brooke," I said gently, "I love you. I'm not paying your rent." Her sobs turned into rage. "You're selfish," she screamed. "You know that? You're selfish." My mother cut in, furious. "You're abandoning your sister," she snapped. The word again. Abandoning. I felt my hands shake. Then I did something new. I asked a question. "Mom," I said quietly, "where is Brooke's boyfriend?" Silence. "Where is the kid's dad?" I added. More silence. "Where is the money Brooke spent last month when she went to Nashville?" I asked. Brooke's breathing hitched. Mom snapped. "Don't you dare judge her." "I'm not judging," I said. "I'm noticing." Brooke screamed, "I hate you." And then the line went dead. For 30 seconds I sat there, shaking, staring at my phone like it had teeth. Then a text came in from Dad. "Your mom is crying. She says you've changed. Are you sure you're doing the right thing?" My throat burned. "Yes." "No." "I don't know." I called Dr. Klein's office and left a message. Then I sat on my couch and cried. Not because I changed. Because I didn't want to be the villain. Because I wanted my family to love me without needing me. Later that afternoon, my dad called. His voice was quieter. "Your mom's calmed down," he said. I swallowed. "What's happening with Brooke?" I asked. Dad hesitated. "She called her boyfriend," he admitted. "He's covering part of it. Your mom's using a credit card for the rest." I exhaled slowly. So there was another solution. There always was. They just preferred the solution that cost them nothing. Dad cleared his throat. She said you embarrassed her, he added. I swallowed. I'm done paying for her peace with my life, I said softly. Dad didn't argue. He just sighed, like he was finally seeing the truth. And in that moment, I realized boundaries don't always fix families. Sometimes they reveal them. Chapter 8. What No Made Possible. It took months for the anger to cool. My mom didn't suddenly become supportive. Brooke didn't suddenly become responsible. Real life doesn't wrap up neatly. But something did shift. Because once I stopped saying yes automatically, my family had to adapt. Brooke found a new babysitter. Not because she wanted to, because she had to. My mom stopped calling me first for every crisis. Not because she respected me, because she learned the guilt script didn't work the same way anymore. And my dad? My dad started calling me separately. Not to pressure me, to talk. One evening he said, quietly, "Your mom's scared you'll leave." I sat very still. "I'm not leaving," I said. Then I added, careful, "But I'm not coming back to the old dynamic." Dad was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "I think that's fair." I almost cried. Because fair was not a word used in my family. Love was supposed to be endless giving. In therapy, Dr. Klein asked me to list what I'd gained since setting boundaries. I stared at the paper for a long time. Then I wrote, I sleep. I eat without nausea. I answer my phone without panic. I have friendships again. I don't hate my family as much. And the last one surprised me. Because it was true. When I stopped resenting them, I could see them more clearly. My mom wasn't evil. She was afraid. She'd built her identity around being needed, and my no felt like death to that identity. Brooke wasn't hopeless. She was entitled, and entitlement is often just immaturity protected for too long. And me? I wasn't selfish. I was learning something I should have learned as a kid. Love is not the same as access. I still helped sometimes, but I helped differently, on purpose, with limits, with consent. When Brooke asked for babysitting now, she asked in advance. Sometimes I said yes. Sometimes I said no, and the world stayed intact. One night, months later, my mom called. Her voice was softer. "I made lasagna," she said. I waited, cautious. Then she added, "If you want, you can come by." If you want. Not you should. Not you have to. A simple invitation. I swallowed. "I'd like that," I said. When I arrived, my mom didn't apologize. She wasn't there yet. But she didn't attack me either. We ate. We talked about normal things. At the end, she walked me to the door. Her voice was quiet. "I don't like how you say no now," she admitted. I met her eyes. "I know," I said gently. She looked away, then back. "But," she added, begrudging, "you seem calmer." I nodded. "I am," I whispered. She sighed, like surrender and love were tangled in her chest. "I just miss when you needed me," she said. My throat tightened. "I still need you," I replied. "I just don't need you to control me." She didn't respond, but she didn't argue. And that was something. Later, in my car, I sat for a moment in the quiet. I thought about the first no, the shaking hands, the slammed phone call, the word selfish, thrown like a rock. I thought about what it had cost me and what it had saved. Then I remembered another sentence from therapy. One Dr. Klein said, On a day I cried so hard I couldn't breathe. Boundaries don't separate you from love, she'd told me. They separate you from resentment. And finally, after a lifetime of being the one who endured, I understood what saying no really was. Not selfishness, not abandonment. A decision, a quiet, brave decision to stop sacrificing myself to prove I belonged. Because I already belonged, even if they didn't like the new version of me. Even if they called it selfish. Even if it made them uncomfortable. Especially if it made them uncomfortable. Because comfort had always been my job. And I was done making myself smaller to keep everyone else calm.